Okay. So it's the 4th of April. I'm Jan
Mm.
Carpenter from Turnover a New Leaf. And I'm here with Shahilla Barok, who experienced just 2 one-hour sessions of havening 1 year ago. And they were Skype sessions. So we can do havening over Skype. And Shahilla is a single mother of 2 adult children, currently running a vegan pop-up shop in Brick Lane. It's called Eve, or AKA Ethical Vegan Eatery. And she's worked within social work for many, many years as a trainer and a professional L&D person. And she's founder of a siblings project and charity for the last 22 years, training volunteers to support the siblings without a disability, and also to provide peer support for those siblings without a disability. Welcome, Shahilla. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Jan. Oh, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So the purpose of today's call is to find out about your experience of havening back then, a year or so ago, and the impact it's had on your life 1 year on. So perhaps you'd like to just start. Let me just pose a question to you to get the ball rolling. Firstly,
Sure.
Can you please share briefly what the issues were that brought you to havening at the time?
Sure. So 3 years prior to, about 2.5 years prior to the havening treatment, I'd had a terrible car accident, and I'd fractured my neck, and I had paralysis on my left side. But unbeknown to the doctors at the time, I also had neurological damage, which was picked up 2 years later. However, I, as a coach and NLP practitioner myself, I did treat myself to a certain degree and started changing my mindset, because I'd become very depressed, because I'd lost my business, I'd lost my health, I couldn't go anywhere. The paralysis lasted for about a year. I managed to sort of change my mindset in terms of making sure that I got better quicker. But what I couldn't let go of, Jan, was the anger that I had for this woman who, just because of her split-second carelessness, caused this accident. And I knew that anger was stopping me from healing completely. And that's when havening came along. So you talked to me about havening, and you explained to me what it does and how it helps. And of course, I'd already spoken to you about my issues, and told you how I was struggling to just let go of that anger, which I knew was not, that negative energy was not going to help me move forward. And you suggested havening. And I wasn't well enough to travel to you for the treatment. So we decided we'd do it over Skype.
And
sorry?
You also had a business at the time as well, didn't you?
I did. I lost a large part of that business. I did have to start over last year, basically. Late last year, I started over. But I think I needed to let go of these negative emotions before I could focus on anything, because nothing was moving forward. I thought I was working towards rebuilding the business and my life, but that anger, I think, was stopping me to a certain degree. And the havening, when you actually suggested it, sounded like exactly what I needed, and I was happy to try anything at that point, because I just felt that this was the final hurdle. I'd done what I could do as a professional myself to help myself. I did have a little bit of counselling as well. I'd had medical treatment, and I just felt that there was just that one hurdle of that anger that I just couldn't overcome. And talking to you about it, and then you suggesting havening, I think it was like the best thing, because it was that final hurdle for me.
Fantastic.
That kind of made me go forward.
Lovely, thank you for that. And what was the impact? What changed for you after doing havening? You had 2 sessions, and then you did some self-havening as well, didn't you?
It was almost miraculous. So the first session we had, you kind of talked me through it, and I talked about my feelings and the feelings of anger towards this particular person. And as we were going through that treatment, I actually did feel something lifting I felt like almost like loosening those negative cogs to a certain degree. And then our next session was a little while away. I think it was about 2 to 3 weeks after, wasn't it? And you suggested that I self-haven over that period of time, but also my arm was quite numb still at the time that you and I were
you found it quite difficult to do it a little bit, didn't you?
I found it, yeah. So doing that activity was a little bit difficult, but I continued and I persevered. So I did this every night, just as you suggested, self-havened until our next session. But every single time I did it, I felt it was chipping away at this anger.
Wonderful. Yeah.
This negative, honestly. And I really feel that after the second session, I felt things just turned around, because suddenly I wasn't angry. Suddenly there wasn't this negative emotion going on. And despite kind of plodding along as I was, I'm a coach and NLP practitioner myself. I know you have to keep going. But despite doing that, I wasn't really getting very far. But after the havening, I just felt a sense of freedom, because I had now let go. I had let go of what had happened. It was done. It was dusted. She did what she did, and that was the end of that. And it kind of helped me to really move on. And to be quite honest, lots of things started happening post-havening. And I knew that was that one hurdle that I needed to overcome, but nothing had helped. But the havening did. And I recommend it to everybody who listens.
Wonderful.
It is amazing. It is it's a bizarre concept when you've never heard of it, and I hadn't until you explained it to me. However, once you do it and feel the impact of it, you suddenly start to believe, my God, this thing is actually, something's happening. And to be honest with you, Jan, on days where I have a difficult day, I use havening before I go to bed.
Fantastic. So you continue the practice, which is, it's very important, and you compound the benefit.
And it just sets me up for the next day, because there will be days, because there are days where I'm still unwell. As you know, I've got neurological damage, which is not going to go away. So I have down days. And when I do have those, you can ruminate. It's human nature. Even as coaches and NLP practitioners, we know that there are some things that we just cannot control. But at times like that, I make sure that I spend 10 minutes havening before I go to bed.
Wonderful. You are a great student.
Thank you.
1 year on, what has been the benefit on your life as a result of that then?
Yeah, I think the benefit now is that...
What's changed?
What's changed is that I completely have let go of negative emotion. I have accepted that this is as good as I'm going to get, and no amount of ruminating or anger is going to help. And what has also changed is I now have an extra tool in my toolkit, which I can use when I need it. And I know when I need it. I know exactly when I need it, when my own NLP self-talk doesn't work. And I know I'm feeling a bit low, and I'm going to almost I'm teetering on the edge of negativity. That's when I use havening. So for me, what's changed is that I have found something that I would probably have never have considered. And I find that it works for me, and I use it on a regular basis when I need it. Wonderful.
And therefore, having that, what has been the impact on your life, business, career?
I can live life. I'm the positive person I usually am, on a more regular basis. And I do feel that positivity is kind of taking me to experiences and places that perhaps I would not have encountered had I remained in that negative space, or should I allow myself to remain in that negative space, because now I just deal with it. I do the havening before I go to bed, and I know tomorrow I will be feeling a lot more positive, because I've actually dealt with that sort of neuro kinesthetic thing that's bringing me down. So I think life is much better. Life is, I guess, as normal as it will be for me, and I can keep it that way by using the tools that I have, and that includes now havening, whereas before it was just NLP, self-talk, coaching, and of course you know, sometimes counselling if I needed it. But now I have havening, and I know exactly when I need to use it. And I think that's what's changed as well, that as I've been practicing it, I understand exactly when I need it.
Mm.
And I know that
target just in time.
yeah,
Almost. Yeah.
absolutely, nipping things at the bud, really, and knowing which thing I need to use. And I know rumination, I use my havening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as soon as I start ruminating about anything to do with the accident or my health, you know, that the fact that it's deteriorated, I use havening. And also, what it's also done, and I think in a very strange way, is that it energizes me. So I can face the next day and be really energized, you know. And I think that in itself, you know, a positive energy brings positive things. So where I was used to having positive things all the time, the accident took that away. I'm getting it all back again. So it's all coming back. So positive things happen. I meet positive people, doors open. And that's all because I'm keeping myself in check. And havening is a part of that package.
Fantastic. So in the long term then, going forward in your life, how do you think that this, you know, has benefited as a lifetime benefit?
I can have it. It's here. You've given me something that I can utilize going forward if I choose to, which I do because I know it helped me.
Yes, actually use it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's all very well having this thing.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, exactly, it's not going to do any good. But yes, so you've given me an approach that perhaps I would never have encountered, that I now know that I can use time and time again. And I know that if I needed it to happen in a different way, I could always call on you. That's great. And what it's also done is it's made me rave about it. I tell everyone. Anyone who's going through difficulty and has tried other things, I will always suggest and recommend that they come to you and have some havening, because the beauty of it is a therapy that you can actually take away and use yourself as well. You know, and it's great having you, Jan, doing it, but you know, the option that actually when you're not around and I'm feeling like this, that I can do it is great.
Absolutely.
You know, it's completely invaluable.
Wonderful.
So that's me going forward.
Wonderful. And you know, to be clear, we did this havening over Skype, which meant that I guided you to do the havening yourself. For the 2 sessions, and then that gave you the skills to do it yourself.
Absolutely.
The beauty of doing that. So,
so,
well, thank you very much for your time today, Shahilla, and sharing your story and your experience. Very much appreciate it. This has been Jan Carpenter interviewing Shahilla Barok. Thank you very much again. If you want to find out more, you can do so by going to www.turnoveranewleaf.co.uk, or you can email me at info@turnoveranewleaf.co.uk, or you can get me via LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So many places to get hold of people these days, isn't there? And telephone number 0208, it's actually 0203 488 0443. Well, thank you very much again.
Thank you, Jan.
And I'll speak to you soon. All the best.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.